Hello and welcome to my channel. This is my first video and it will be a beginner's guide to Ark. So, to begin with, what we need to do is create a character. There we go, that looks like me. Right, let's spawn into the world. South Zone 1, 2 and 3 are classed as easy. I mean, they're easier than the rest, I won't lie. But you'll always have those annoying little dinosaurs that will attack you straight away. Get used to that, as early game you will die quite a lot. So let's go in and create our new character called Human. So, the first thing we talk about is tools. As soon as you load in, what you want to do is grab some rocks off the floor and punch a tree. Don't punch it too much. As you can see, you start losing health. And if you punch a tree too much, you will die. So let's go and craft ourselves a stone pick. A stone pick will allow us... Sorry, let me just do that. Stone pick will allow us to gather resources much quicker than just punching. So with a stone pick, you get more thatch than wood. And if I can find a rock, I'll show you. And on a rock, you get more flint than stone. Once you gain a little bit of flint and you reach level 2, you'll be able to make a stone hatchet, a spear, and a campfire. With a stone hatchet, that will be your next tool to craft. So let's just go ahead and craft that now. And let me also drop these skins, as they are making my inventory look very messy. Grab your hatchet, hit the same rock, you'll get more stone than flint. Same with the trees. You'll get more wood than thatch. And that is your basic 4 resources at the beginning. Actually, there's one more, I tell a lie, and that's fiber. So put your weapon away, and then go up to these little tiny bushes and press E. This is your basic 5 resources at the very beginning of the game. Once you've got that mastered, and you've reached level 3, you can look at wearing some armor. Be aware that the cloth boots and the cloth gloves need hide. So let's go ahead and make what we can at the moment, which is the top, the hat, and the trousers. Let me just chuck these skins away. Sure, let's put this on. Perfect. So let's go ahead and equip these. And you can see our armor is now 30. So sorry about that. So we reduce 30 points of damage, potentially. Or 30% of the damage. I think that's how it works. But we also get these insulation stats. So on each bits of armor, you see a hypothermic insulation and a hyperthermic insulation. Hypothermic protects you from the cold. Hyperthermic protects you from the heat. The higher the values, the more it protects you. So on this, you are more protected from the heat than the cold, as you would expect from cloth armor. Obviously, the higher the level you go, the more armors you could potentially unlock. The next tier being hide. Hide is better in the cold, but worse in the heat, as you would expect, as it's thicker, so it's warmer. But if you're on a hot location like a volcano, then you'll probably not do well there. Be careful with the temperature. As you will see in a second when I enter the water, it should go to an ice cube. Okay, it's gone to frost. Cold, sorry. If that becomes an ice cube, you slowly start to take damage. Vice versa with the heat. If you get overheated, don't know the right word for it, you will start losing health also. Next, craft a couple of spears, as they tend to break. Perfect. Got our spears, pop that on your toolbar, and get them out. Easiest way to get hide are dodos. With the spear, you can also chuck him. And he didn't die. Wow. And sometimes you can even collect the spears. So, just like with the trees and the stones, the hatchet gives you more hide, whereas the pickaxe gives you more meat. That was a bad example because it didn't in that time, but generally speaking, it does tend to give you more meat. So now that we got hide, we can now make our cloth boots and cloth gloves. If we had fiber, be right back. Okay, we can now make our cloth boots and our cloth gloves. This won't give you that much protection, but it is a good start and it will negate some damage. Next, let's talk about berries. Medja berries are the most important berries for taming herbivores early game. So keep all of these, do not eat them. Narco berries are probably the most important berry out of them all, because they will go into narcotics, which will then go into tranquilizer arrows and bullets, etc., etc. Do not eat these, or your torpidity will shoot up and you will eventually knock yourself out. To counter that, if you quickly eat stimberries, it will take them back down, but you'll also get dehydrated. The tinto berries, the azul berries, and these ones, there they are, amber berries, are not really used for anything particular, except potentially... Okay, well, I knocked myself out. Except for potentially just dyes and stuff like that. Next, I want to focus on where to put your points. So early game, you want to put as many points as you like into weight. I usually like mine a round number, so I have mine as 400, although my weight is 3 times, so I get 30 points per weight, per point into weight is what I'm trying to say. Whereas in vanilla, it will be 10 points. You can alter that stat in the advanced section before you enter in the world of Ark. So once you're at a weight that you're comfortable with, next thing to do is probably movement speed. I like to get mine to 120%. That way I can run away from raptors early game. Raptors are probably your main threat early game, as they like to come down to the beach and mess with your stuff, which is nice of them. Next, I like to get stamina up to 200, just so I can make sure that I run away from the raptors with still some stamina left. Next, I focus on health. I like to get my health up to around about 500. Bearing in mind there is, I think, like 100 something odd levels. So I like to get my health up to around about 500, just so I got a nice chunk of health for late game. I wouldn't really worry about oxygen, food, and water. I never put any points into them. Some people might be different, but for me, I never do. Crafting skill, I wouldn't put points into that ever, unless obviously you're crafting high-end items, which we will talk about in a later video. Fortitude is a very important stat as well. It helps negate being knocked out, it helps negate getting cold, and it helps negate getting warm. So I like to put 40 points into there. Fortitude gives you 2 points per point, so it will take 20 levels roughly. Next, early game Engrams. So you want to try and get as many engrams as possible, but you are limited in points unless you're like me with a mod that gives you every single one. You want to focus on more the foundation side of things here, so you can make a nice little house. Obviously your armor and your tools. So when you get further down, you want to look at the mortar and pestle and narcotics and spark powder. That'll give you early levels if you create a ton of spark powder. Narcotics are needed for, if I scroll down, for your trank arrows. Luckily, to make trank arrows, you need a stone arrow and narcotic points anyway. Next, you want to look at making the metal side of things. So you're going from thatch building, so you're going through ages, essentially. You're going through thatch to wood, now to metal gear. This will harvest a lot quicker, as well as give you more resources. Further on down the list, you'll look at getting a crossbow. So you just want to keep on progressing through the ages. I would not get any saddles unless you're looking to tame specific dinosaurs. So, for example, if you see a trike or a triceratops, you type in trike, but like, okay, I want to tame a trike, I'll unlock it now. Don't unlock it as you go, as that's a waste of points. So what I want to talk about next is where to really just build your first base. The safest place to go is that little small island in the bottom right hand corner. It's called Herbivore Island, and it is what the island suggests, and it's just full of herbivores. Nothing really that will attack you anyway. So, best thing to do to get over there is if you go to your engrams and get to level 16, you can build a wooden raft. Once you have said raft, you can place it into the ocean and pick up a stone whilst you're there, and then on your way. Be careful, as sharks will attack your boat, but you tend to be faster than the sharks, so they don't seem to be the issue. The issue is a massive fish whale thing called a leech. You'll know the fish when you see it, because it is so big. What I recommend doing is staying close to the shoreline until you get just opposite the island, and then just shoot across to the island itself. So I shall see you there. Okay, so once you are opposite the island, what I like to do is just book it across to the island. So, if you, I think it's K normally, I'm not sure what it is for consoles, but if you press K, you can go into this sort of cinematic view, where you can also view what's closest to you underwater. What you want to do is enter this way here between the two rocks, and as long as there's nothing close to you, it is plain sailing. So I like to stay here until I'm high enough level to make a pteranodon saddle. At that point, I look at taming a pteranodon and then moving more inland. But for now, set yourself up a base here, tame some dinos, get some metal gear, maybe some stone buildings, go from there. But before you do any of that, make sure you collect this explorer note. This will give you a nice boost to your XP to begin with, and you'll have an XP boost for 600 seconds.